Hey guys, so we're going to do a tour of the garden today and we're going to see what's changed since the winter time, and we're going to talk about a new upcoming project that we got going on. So, see you soon. Alright, so like I was saying, so sorry if the wind is horrible. This week it's just been a pain in my butt, but this is the sweet mint that I had before winter hit. The other companion had died off. This one slowly grew back. This, look at that little one. This tomato here is, I'm going to consider it basically dead. It was a cutting from the original tomato that we had gotten from, I do believe, Lowe's. I had high hopes until the random frost hit and it just died. This is thyme right here. It's doing pretty well. I've gotten a few cuttings off of it on and off, so that's pretty good. My boysenberry and golden raspberry, they are slowly growing, and I mean slowly, like paint dry kind of slow. This is my dill here. I've gotten a bunch of different cuttings from my dill, so far they're doing pretty well. My rosemary seems to have gotten a tiny bit bigger, but not a whole drastic amount. And then I don't remember which variety this is, but it is a snapdragon plant. There's two of them there. This big group that looks like lettuce is my purple prince zinnias. They kind of survive through the winter, so they are pretty decently cold hardy if you don't have a severe winter. My pepper plant stand here, I'm going to pretty much just redo those for what it looks like, because it looks like they got frost and bitten as well. Alright, so we have an artichoke here that's doing pretty well. It's been struggling to survive because my cats keep running it over, but other than that, it's doing fine. The garden sage is doing well. I've gotten a few cuttings off of that. I mistakenly grew catnip in my garden, so this sad little plant is catnip. The other two, the cats have already gotten to. This is either marjoram or oregano. I'm not sure between these three here which one's who and what. My petunia is still holding on. Did not like the frost at all. As you can see, neither did my basil, but it's doing pretty well. Some more mystery herbs. Okay, Obsidian, hi. You got your debut on the channel. Hello, everybody. Hi, purrs and all. This petunia is doing pretty well, all things considered, as far as the weather goes. Tucked along here should have been some cherry tomatoes, but I think with the frost they kind of got wiped out. Oh no, a broken branch. Okay, we'll just push that aside. Stop! Go! So over here is cabbage and broccoli. There's different types of cabbages. My broccolis have little heads. Aren't they just the cutest? So those guys are doing well, all things considered. You can definitely tell there is a intruder in the garden somewhere, and I just haven't found his little bug yet, but moths are a pain. More basil. That is a purple bell pepper. It's called the Black Beauty. What people fail to tell you is Black Beauties only get about yay big as far as the pepper goes. I mean the actual edible pepper. The plant gets huge if you let it. Alright, in here are my micro tomatoes. We have some orange hats, some tiny toms, and I think a white currant tomato. There were supposed to be some other varieties, but as you can tell, they did not make it. In here is potato row. Basically, they were in a row, but these guys like to dig my garden up, so they replanted them wherever they wanted them. And then we have some collard greens hiding amongst the potatoes over here. These little guys right here are supposed to be yarrow. I do believe they're a mixed variety, and these guys are orange and yellow calendulas, which I'm going to be trying to do some sort of thing with those. The lettuce that won't grow. Another petunia here is doing fairly well, all things considered. It did suffer the worst with white flies, which we do have those again, it looks like. Other than that, they're doing pretty well. The two bell peppers that just won't decide if they want to be with us or not. I had to move my roses over here and my mint over here because we're doing a project. Will you guys stop going under my feet? Good Lord. So things are a little chaotic right now. Another rose. They're doing pretty well, all things considered, and the big bushy one right there, it's got rose hips on it, which is pretty cool. This is my only other pepper plant that is a jalapeno that I have. Everything over here suffers from the frost, but these guys seem to be growing back a little faster. That's dead. Carrots in here. I've pulled out a few that are decent sized, but not a lot that are very good sized. And I lost a couple because, you know, they intertwined and they were tiny. Here's some more views on these guys now. So far, these guys have had a bloom of growth. They did not have any leaves on them before, so now they're getting leaves. It's pretty cool. I did not trim this basil here at all, and it seemed to survive the best out of the frost. So that might be something I have to do next time, is just leave them as much as I think the frost is gone. Alright, we have golden beets right here. There may or not be a red beet amongst them. We have a random assortment of kale that may or may not continue to survive because apparently they're not frost tender. I mean, they're not frost hardy, they're frost tender. Didn't know that. Thought they were like regular brassicas, so lesson learned. Speaking of brassicas, my two largest broccolis over here, I have little side shoots coming off of them and crowns on them as well. Not sure if they're going to get big, but there's a good image of one. And here's what the other one looks like. It does look like it's starting to flower a little bit here, so I might just harvest it early and then just get whatever shoots come off. My Malabar spinach overwintered as well. I don't know if these berries were ever edible, but I do know that they're seeds, so I'm just kind of letting them do its thing. My originally organic jalapeno, this guy didn't like the frost too much, but it is slowly but surely growing more leaves back, as you can tell. My sad little eggplant over there, which was ginormous, also got hit by the frost. These things, I didn't have anything to really cover them with, and by the time I realized it was too cold, I was already at work and it was already too late. So just going through, a lot of basil and stuff have been removed. Where she is right now, little cute fuzzball, was my Sugar Rush Peach and Poblanos. I don't know if they're gonna survive and come back or not. This guy was a spoon tomato, which I might have to regrow because it seems pretty crunchy. A lot of stuff in the middle was basil and whatnot. That's also been taken out. My husband has done some few wood burning, so we just put the charcoal and ash and all that in there. This little guy here is doing pretty well. It's starting to have some more growth down there. My huckleberry plant, for the majority of the reason, is doing well. I did notice there's an aphid problem, and I've been having aphids on my roses, so I have got to figure out something. I have more peas growing here. I planted them during the winter time after I had planted them, and they were about, I don't know, yay-ish tall. My sugar bones are finally kicking off enough to actually get a decent amount off of them, which I'll show you the peas that I got so far. And my regular garden peas are doing pretty well as well. Are we helping? What are we doing over here? tucked in here is spinach and whatnot and marigolds. I planted one marigold and it just kind of like wildfire seeded itself. Alright, so over here, the big plant right here you can see is my purple Xeon. This one had a companion down over there, but it needs a lot of sunlight, so apparently that was just too little sunlight over there. It didn't like the conditions, so it basically died. And this guy is the only surviving snapdragon in this bed. There was more. There was plenty of flowers and all sorts of pretty things in the bed originally before I put edible plants, but they just didn't make it, and this one little guy did. So he's hiding in the Xeon right now, and they've kind of intertwined, so I just leave him be. So that's pretty much it as far as what's here in the garden and what's different. As you can tell, it looks pretty bare. This big back space right here, it's our new project, or at least my new project I'm doing. My husband's helping me, and what we're going to do is we're going to take 4x4 posts, and we're going to do them every so many feet, and we are going to be putting shade cloth from the roof line all the way over to that structure there, and that way we don't have to deal with the burlap that I had last year, which I still do not recommend unless you have no choice. So sorry, I've got sun in my eyes, trying to hide away from it. So yeah, it's pretty much low right now as far as the sun, so it's like in my face. But yeah, also somewhere in the front here, let me walk back over there, we're thinking where that Forerunner is right there in front of the fence, this one. On either side of that structure that's in front of the fence, we might be putting some citrus trees. We're going to clean up the whole yard and everything. But I gotta go get those from the neighbors as long as they're still willing to let me get them. We raided a different neighbor's yard for some wood to help with my project and just to have some to burn. She had remodeled her house, so she's like, yeah, sure, take it, take all of it. So yeah, but that's pretty much it as far as the garden goes and everything. I will be doing more like picture updates for the structure, and I do pictures through the garden as well as trying to get the best views possible. I do have plans on doing like plantings of more things. Definitely going to be redoing this structure right here that I'm currently moving. I'm going to make it taller, and I might add a secondary arch to it to kind of make it sturdier, and that way I can have my noodle beans on there. So that would be kind of entertaining and fun to do. I might be able to do those sooner rather than later, considering that it's not super cold anymore, hopefully, but I'm keeping an eye on the weather at least until the end of February for sure, to make sure that random frost days don't just pop up, because that was my problem with everything here, is that it was fine, it was growing, and then out of nowhere 28 degrees and below happened, and that's kind of rare for where I live. We don't normally get a cold snap like that. So alright guys, well hopefully you enjoyed walking through the garden with me and seeing the different things, and hopefully you guys will be interested in seeing how my little project turns out and whatnot. And if you have any questions about some things that I have in the garden, feel free to ask. If you have any suggestions, again, feel free to ask. Don't worry if like you think you're bombarding me, you're not. I enjoy reading comments. So the sad thing about most things were though is that they had little babies. Look at that. Never gonna be big. So sad. So, but yeah, before we end, however, this is a type of eggplant that is about 3 pounds, but I think all eggplants generally need the same kind of requirements, more or less. So if anybody has grown eggplants, more specifically in like a zone 9B that's like deserty kind of environment. Let me know if you had any success, because so far I get tons of flowers and no eggplant. And I have thousands of bees that come through my yard on a daily basis. Butterflies, regular flies, all the things. So I just don't get it. It gives me flowers, but it doesn't give me fruit. So if you guys can let me know any tips and pointers on that, I'd be very appreciated. Well, don't want to make this too long. Hopefully you guys liked the video, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.